one who is severely handicapped needs to fear that they will get paid any less. In fact, they're going to see an increase. We want them to be able to earn more money before losing their benefits. And we're hearing a lot of support in the disabilities community.
This province is the only province that is actually expanding disability supports. This province is the only province that is actually expanding disability supports.
AISH Actions Revolutionary Podcast.
Chantal and Gavin.
You have now entered the no bullshit zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the big show. I hope you all are doing amazing out there. My name is Gavin Sorochan. I am a 60-year-old cisgendered white male, and I'm glad to have you all here. It is our pleasure, and by our pleasure, I mean my co-host, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Chantal with the Alberta Disability System Breakdown.
Right on. So we're back, and we're back. I had to take a couple days off, and I apologize to you all, but I had to move, and in that move became some very interesting stories to tell, and maybe I'll tell a few of those today. But I am far more relaxed. There is far more light reaching me these days. My vitamin D levels are up, and I'm happier than a pig in poop. So, and my friend, my co-host Chantal, has been helping me through, some of the navigatable miasma and maze that I've had to transverse. So, my move happened at a time where a lot was going on, a lot is going on with the whole reason this podcast exists. And so we want to get to that tonight because a lot of people have been asking questions. Chantal has been fielding so many questions on her page. And we really, want to discuss the finer points of that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And not of the program necessarily, but of what we saw from the NDP on the town hall. What was it, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to break down a lot of that tonight because we think that all of us are afforded the luxury of knowing the best truth, not just half truths. And there were a lot of those flying around. And we also want to get to one very disconcerting part of that entire, whatever you want to call it. It's not really a town hall. To me, a town hall is live and in person, and you can throw things out immediately. So this was kind of a virtual thing. So we're going to do that. But before we do that, I want to go to the chat, and I want to see who's here. And who? Hey, Nicole. Hello all. Hello all. Hello, right back at you, Nicole. And
I think we were missed just a little bit.
I think we were. And like I said off the top, my bad, but we're back. We're back, and I'm feeling better. I have a new, just a new appreciation, new thankfulness for where I am, and and some new furniture and some new goodies, a new lease. And Maya, hey Maya. Maya says, hello, Chantal and Gavin, missed you guys, missed you too. Probably more than you know. I noticed that myself as I watched the meeting. You're right. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. Is there anything you want to preface with, Chantal, before we get, kind of into the thick of things, as it were?
Nothing that's really that hasn't been covered in our notes already for today's episode, so I think we're good there. I have been getting a lot of messages from people within the last couple of days saying that they've been receiving their rose pins in the mail, so that's awesome.
Oh, that's fabulous. Literally fabulous.
Mhm.
That's beautiful because, you know, I know people have been waiting for them. I know what they represent, of course.
Mhm.
And, you know, we're really coming into, I think, our time
Yeah.
as a class, as a demographic, as 80,000 people. I really think we're having our moment. Although we feel like we're being had in the moment, I also think that we're poised to have a moment.
Mhm.
And so I feel really good about that. Wow, do I look tired? I'm putting these back on. Give me a second.
You've had a long few days, man.
Holy crap, that's better.
You got to be gentle with yourself.
I
Moving
do.
is not easy for anybody.
No. And you know what? I mean, I have to realize I'm 60 now. Over the last few days, I literally, like, I found it hard to get off the floor for a few days. You know, like I'd have to, you know, do
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So yeah, you know, I don't have the hair or the stamina I had in the 80s. I can tell you that. Um, so, well, if there's nothing else on our minds necessarily, we have a lot to talk about. And why don't we just start? Why don't you start, Chantal?
Yeah, so of course we wrote or we got this together the night after because we were expecting to do the live podcast on Thursday, and that didn't happen. I know those evasive power bars. Um, so I'm gonna have to uh, fix that as we go because everything's like last night, AISH-to-ADAP Town Hall, line by line. But that's essentially what we're going to be doing here is going through it line by line. I pulled the transcript from that entire meeting. All of the comments that were in the comment section I pulled. So we're going to dive into that. And my hair is everywhere. My goodness, get out of here. Oh, so we'll get right into it. So the town hall said that that the change happens July 1st, and the legal change happens July 2nd because the 1st is a holiday. This is not a quibble, right? The government of Alberta's own proclamation record, updated June 22nd, 2026, states that Section 6 of the Financial Statutes Amendment Act of 2025, number 2, is proclaimed in force on July 2nd of this year. So amending the AISH Act. The new general regulations, which has been titled AR 96/2026, carries the same date on its filed copy. So, and it was filed May 12th, 2026, in force July 2nd. So all of these new regulations and amendments do not go into force and are not law until July 2nd. And I really want to point out that the general regulation was filed May 12th. So the same date that the decision or the discussion guide for ADAP was released, and the same date that is on all of our letters.
Okay.
So that seems to be a very popular date for this government.
Right, right. Well, the clarification is warranted, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it may just seem like a day, but it's certainly warranted. And I think, you know, we have to dot all our I's and cross all our T's
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, where government's concerned, where legal action is concerned. We have to be pretty salient in our speech, in our language, and in our
Yeah.
writing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So we know that. That's great.
Yeah. So the program may launch and the letters may speak of July, but the part that legally deems people onto ADAP changes the rules and removes the appeal over the transition does not exist in law until July 2nd.
Yep.
So, and I want everybody to really sit with that for a moment. because everything that we're being told and led to believe and the misinformation that is being force fed to us through other media outlets about, oh no, we can't fight, we can't appeal, we can't do this, we can't do that. The laws that they're quoting are not in effect in law until the 2nd of July. So until July 1st, you are an AISH recipient under the current AISH Act and the current regulations. So you keep every appeal right under those current rules that they give you. The new restrictions are not yet in force and they cannot be applied to you before they exist.
And
So
this-
that's why we're pushing against the appeal secretariat's office. So as hard as we are, that's why I'm pushing against the NDP's misinformation as hard as I am, because they are lying to us with a straight face.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, this gives us an understanding of what we still can do as far as we know. And I think what we know is as salient as anything a young lawyer with, you know, long hair attempted to tell us on Tuesday. We still have that right, whether or not it's an actionable right, whether or not it's a legal precedent standard, it still remains unanswered. But the fact that we believe that we can appeal ADAP, not because somebody told us you can't appeal it, but because under AISH, in which every person is until July 2nd, you can appeal anything. So if they were going to say you can't appeal ADAP, then they would have had to have wrote into their previous legislation that you could appeal anything other than ADAP.
Yeah.
Because their previous legislation, which was never changed, expressed the fact that you could appeal anything.
Yep.
And that's what we're holding to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there were 4 categories, and I end up going through them later on, of things that we could not appeal and cannot appeal under the AISH current regulations, and we'll dive into those a little bit later. But yes, essentially, because there was a determination made on our file without a reassessment, without an assessment of any kind, and all of our letters are signed, and I put this into a legal memo that I sent out across the board already, because I'm a pain in everybody's butt. So all of our letters are signed sincerely assured income for the severely handicapped program. So there's no name on our letter saying who made the decision, why we were switched, nothing. Just that it was automatic and there was nothing that we could do about it, which was absolutely hogwash.
Right. And that was signed from AISH, not ADAP.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because ADAP is not a live program until the 2nd of July, because the 1st is a holiday.
Right. Right.
So there are no government offices open on the 1st. Yeah. So what the NDP panel got right, because I always have to be fair with this. So we're going to be fair because being fair is what makes the rest of this credible. So several things said on Tuesday were correct, and you should trust them. Okay. So the transition itself is not appealable. Once the new law is in force, you cannot file an appeal whose subject is, I do not want to be moved to ADAP. That is accurate. But again, not until after the 2nd of July. So reassessment is the road back to AISH. A person on ADAP can ask to be reassessed for AISH if their condition or capacity changes. And the government has said it will cover the cost of 1 medical assessment for that purpose. So we can trust that as well. And then the Get Your File. So requesting your own record through the Access to Information Act process, which replaced FOIP, FOIP. That is no longer a program that is active under the government. Is a sound concrete step, which is what I've been trying to get everybody to do. Request your file. It gives you more ammunition for when you go in for the reassessment. And then put accommodation requests in writing. So yes, correct. And one of the most protective habits you can build, always document everything in writing. I can help you, build whatever you need. It's just a matter of reaching out. Another point that they were correct about is you are not cut off simply for being unable to find or keep a job. That is true, and we have the exact wording a little bit later.
Good.
So the wording around treatment widens discretion. So the point about the word could in the disability definition is real, and we confirmed it. If a breakdown only attacks, it is propaganda, right? And the above is solid, so we can build on that.
Can you explain what that means there?
The wording?
Yeah, like just the wording and the word could. What does that apply to? What sentence does could apply to?
So what they're talking about is how a lot of these new regulations for ADAP are worded. So they're saying that they could do this, they could do that if we don't do this or that.
Okay,
So that's what they mean by it widens
I get
the
you.
discretion.
Right,
So it's not narrow, it's very broad as to what they can get away with, which is what we have to protect ourselves against.
right. And just to make a comment quickly regarding the FOIA request or FOIA request. If I remember correctly, that lawyer stated that we can petition with a FOIA request.
Yep.
So, once again, it may seem small to other people, but it also lends itself to credibility when a lawyer says that you can appeal under FOIA when FOIA no longer exists. And there is good reason why FOIA doesn't exist, and that's because they wanted to narrow your ability to hold the government accountable. So they created the AITA, right?
Yep.
Which stands for what, Chantal?
The Access to Information Act.
Right. So you can't even pronounce ATIA, where you used to loosely be able to pronounce FOIA. And so this lawyer got it wrong when he said that. And now I will give everybody, the benefit of saying, it's very, small. It's small, but it leads to your credibility, especially when you're a lawyer. And I would have liked him to know that, number one. So,
Well, that would have been the least.
well,
the
that
least
was
of
the
my
least.
expectations.
Yeah, but still important if you're dealing with someone who you have to trust knows everything you don't know.
Yeah.
And so for me to know something, not as a lawyer, greater than the lawyer himself knows, is a little concerning for me. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just the fact that he was really behind this, we can't appeal nonsense. And it's like, oh, for the love of God. Like I was so frustrated in that chat, Gavin, it was just not even funny. And we were there. You and I were both in that chat, correcting a lot of their narrative. And I don't think they appreciated that. But you know what? They're welcome to join us on our podcast and, challenge us anytime.
Anytime. Yeah, and we're going to get to that part. That I think we're going to establish that point quite distinctly tonight, right? In the fact that that the greater assumption right now is that you can appeal ADAP under AISH, not that you can't appeal. That's what AISH has been telling you when you call them. Wait, there's nothing you can do.
Yep.
Which is, as far as we're concerned, and as far as we know, is a lie. And we'll break down why we consider that to be an untruth as we go along tonight. Do you want me to take the what needs correcting and clarifying, Chantal?
Oh, sure. I'm just doing a little bit of brief stuffy surgery. There was a tag on it that my daughter didn't want anymore.
Stat.
Oh.
Get to it, stat.
Do you want the big tag off? Yeah.
So the $1,540 number. Nobody's total monthly income becomes $1,540. The ADAP core benefit is $1,740, confirmed verbatim in AR 96/2026. The 1540 figure is the provincial share in one specific situation where the federal government disability benefit of $200 is deducted. So if I were to clarify that, Chantal, I would say that we have been reduced to 1540, but the $200 is supposed to make up the difference between 1540 and 1740. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the
So, because that 1540 doesn't go into effect until January 2028,
okay, so at that point it will be 1540
$200 less than we are right now.
than we are right now, which is
Yeah.
1740 with the $200 added, in which a
Yeah,
lot
from the federal government.
but that
There's no Alberta government top up.
right, but that money we need to explain, I think, to people very clearly, because not everyone is
Yeah.
getting $200, yet the Alberta government is
Mhm.
clawing back $200. Some
Yeah.
people aren't getting anything from the federal government because it's the DTC.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, and the Alberta government is still clawing back $200.
Mhm.
So I'm not getting topped up, quote unquote, a dime.
No, you're getting clawed back.
I'm getting 1540.
Yeah.
So that's only true if, and I think we need to explain this greater, if you have done the work of petitioning the government with the knowledge that you either can't get DTC, therefore they need to stop deducting the $200 amount.
Yeah.
Or you get a partial payment and they have to remit you the difference of that because they've been taking $200.
Mhm.
So you get $50 from the federal, you're still up $150 that the Alberta government must make up. So it is potential, and in my case, I can attest to it. I'm getting $1,540. I'm not getting 1740.
Yeah.
Right. So
And not everybody's getting the same base amount either. It
It's-
depends on what the AISH's, calculations are. So whether you get special diets or added amounts or lesser amounts, it's not the same across the board.
it's very
And that's how we've always approached these
it's
numbers.
very frustrating because it's very confusing.
Oh, it is.
Right. And
Absolutely it is.
right. And there's a lot of people on AISH, we must remind ourselves that don't have the mental bandwidth to go through this. And not only that, it takes research to learn this. And that's not many people have done that.
Mhm.
Not many people are bringing forward the actual truth of the matter, meaning
Yep.
that the 1740 is true in regard to the $200 top up, quote unquote. But if you do not get the DTC, which is that top up, you're reduced to 1540. And if you don't contact the government for them to make amends on that, you will continue to make 1540 or be given 1540 a month. So it is up to all of us. It is incumbent upon all of us to contact the Alberta government in regards to whether we get a partial payment or no payment.
Yeah.
From the federal government, so that we
Yeah,
can.
and the
we can have that money.
DTC, so the disability tax credit, is the first step to getting the Canadian disability benefit, right? And that's that disability benefit. So the Canadian disability benefit that's being clawed back.
Right.
So the disability tax credit, you have to have that first before you apply for the Canadian disability benefit. I hate all these freaking acronyms and programs. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
if your amount is deducted and you don't have the DTC in place to have had the Canadian disability benefit put into place, and your amount either is between $0 and $200, we have a form for you to fill out to correct that with AISH.
Right.
And all you need is a copy of whatever denial letter or whatever form or letter they sent you saying, yes, you've been approved, but for this amount.
Right.
And they owe you that money back.
Right. So the money that they have, as far as we know, that they've taken in regard to you establishing whether or not you can even get DTC, because they
Yeah.
just clawed you back $200, clawed back $200
Mhm.
until any determination was made. It is our understanding that they owe you that money that they have taken from you when you were attempting to even apply and had no money and no determination. So that's a lot of shit. And I hope the
Mhm.
chat can let us know if they kind of understand the non-understandable,
Mhm.
because it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It
You
it
know
took
it is.
it took me a whole night talking to Chantal just to get my head around it. I'm like, well, wait, but what about that? And she, oh, yeah. We went through that for like 2 hours on the phone until the drummer here, the Neanderthal, figured it out. So once again, Chantal, your best resource in this regard, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to take
Yeah.
over from where I was, Chantal?
Sure. Um, so just regarding another thing, because people are confused about that $200 clawback that's happening while you're still being processed. Now, I know that AISH ended up announcing in April that they were going to start doing the clawback regardless of if we had our applications in for the DTC or the CDB. I don't know the legalities around that, but I know that it was announced that they were going to start doing that. So whether it was to light a fire under all of our butts to get, into compliance with getting the disability tax credit and the Canadian disability benefit, I have no idea. But if you're being clawed back right now and you haven't gotten your determination yet, I'd start hounding the federal government, because whatever their determination ends up stating, right? If they come back with a no, then AISH owes you all of that clawed back income that they took from you from your benefits. If you get approved, okay, and all of those clawbacks have happened, you're actually a lot safer than a lot of us were, because that $200 was already coming off of your check. So it would be whatever the difference is off of those clawbacks, in comparison to the bigger amount. Like a lot of us got back pay or retroactive pay for the CDB. So AISH is still clawing back that retroactive payment from all of us that got that payment, which was significantly bigger than just $200. So whatever they're clawing back from you right now will come off of that retroactive payment. So you won't owe as much to the provincial government for having that benefit in place.
Right. And I don't want to confuse people any more than they might already be. So I'm not going to touch that, because we talked about that and I had a question about that. And you're like, well, that's a good question. We couldn't figure it out, but we'll leave that for another time, because today is pretty fact heavy.
Oh yeah.
Let me go to the chat just for a sec. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Nicole says, I'm curious, does being eligible for the DTC show more of a severe disability? I what do you think, Chantal? I wouldn't believe that it does. That's what the other
No.
three-letter acronym is.
Well, in order to get all of the these two programs or these two credits, right? So the disability tax credit, it's a federal thing, so it shouldn't have any kind of bearing on what we get provincially, like at all, because those two offices don't communicate with each other, which is why we always have to send whatever we get from the federal government to AISH. Right? So they're not going to be contacting the federal government going, oh, hey, does Joe Schmo have the disability tax credit because we want to go off of that for his next assessment, right? So it's not going to give you brownie points towards reassessment if you have it or if you don't.
Right, but I would say that the metric that Nicole is asking here, the DTC wouldn't determine anything about your severe disability. That would have come from the determination of, what's the other three-letter acronym?
The Canadian Disability Benefit?
CDB, right. So that was a determination of whether or not you were eligible for this benefit given your biological or psychological precarity. Correct?
I think you've kind of got it backwards. So the disability tax credit was the very first tax credit for disability at the federal level.
I'm sorry, I
So
do have it. Yeah, I do have it backwards. You're right.
So that opens up your ability to apply for what is it? RDSP, so Retirement Disability Savings Plan. right?
Yeah.
It opens up your ability to file or to apply for the Canadian disability benefit, right? So in order to apply or to get the Canadian disability benefit, you have to have the disability tax credit in place. Now, the disability tax credit application is 2 parts. Okay, so the first part you fill out. Every individual, I would fill it out for me, I'd fill it out for my kids, Gavin would fill it out for him. The second part, so part B, you take to your doctor and they charge you to do that. And the disability tax credit does next to nothing for people that have no employment income. Which is why a lot of us let it lapse, because it's not doing anything for us, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of different things that we can do with the disability tax credit, like having that, but that'll be on a different show.
Right.
Or a different
Right.
episode, because there's a lot of information for both of these programs,
Right.
but they're not going to use that for reassessment.
And suffice to say that I got it backwards. Yes. I didn't get the DTC because I didn't meet the criteria. Therefore, the Alberta government has to stop clawing it back.
Yeah, they have to stop clawing back the Canadian disability benefit.
Right.
Because once you are ineligible or denied the disability tax credit, you can't apply for the Canadian disability benefit.
Right. Right.
And that's it. So we have forms for that. If you're getting it, if you're not getting it, if it's a different amount than the $200 that they're automatically clawing back, we have forms for that.
Yes, we have forms for everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah. Okay, good, great. Thank you for clarifying. And that's why I always ask you, am I correct? Because I got that totally backwards, and my apologies. Maya says, I think it would show a physical one for sure, Nicole. So does Maya have that right? Yeah.
So with the disability tax credit part B that goes through your doctor, if your doctor shortchanges what your disabilities are, what your circumstances are, what your day-to-day living experience is, that's usually where the wrinkle comes in, because they're not giving enough information to the federal government through that form. So maybe they're not showing that it's as serious a disability as it should be. Because it all boils down to how it's worded.
Right. And so once again, it's confusion upon confusion.
Yeah.
For
And not every doctor knows how to fill out these forms.
Of course not. Even they're confused. And a lot of them, I know somebody used the term flabbergasted to me today. Well, actually, we had a really nice comment in one of the comments on the actual one of our programs, and the person was so appreciative of this program and that we exist, and said that their doctors, their psychiatrists, can't even believe that this is happening and had no idea it was happening. And now they showed them this nice rosy little to all of the psychiatrists in his office. Somebody came in, I guess, sounds like, from AISH-to-ADAP, and showed them this nice glowing video of how great this was going to be. And I think the psychiatrists were like, this is a load of shit. All of this looks like complete austerity and a whole breakdown of the system. So even psychiatrists seem to need a psychiatrist for all this. Let me move on. Annette says, AISH has been deducting the $200 from a family member since September 2025. Did we start Oh, you're stuck. Let me go. Hang on. Let me go here. Yeah, you're froze. Why are you froze?
Oh no, it's all good, because I've got the It'll give us like income tax reminders, Canadian dental care plan information, the Canadian or Canada disability benefit stuff, reporting requirements,
Okay,
blah, blah, blah.
Chantal.
Like it's all,
Chantal,
yeah.
can you go back and restate that because you froze
Oh,
as soon as you
okay.
start talking? Yeah, yeah.
No
Sorry.
worries.
You know what that is.
So on the back of our direct deposit statements or on like it's attached to our medical health benefits card, they have all of their bureaucratic shorthand information there. So about income, like the income tax reminder, the Canadian dental care plan, the Canada disability benefit, blah, blah, blah. Right. So when the Canadian disability benefit information first appeared on our stubs, right?
Mhm.
Nobody knew what the heck it was. And nobody at AISH knew that you had to have the disability tax credit before applying for the Canadian disability benefit.
Right.
So everybody rushed out to do the Canadian disability benefit application without having the DTC in place, which ended up almost collapsing the federal government, what is it, like their system. Because
Right.
they couldn't connect all of these applications to active disability tax credit people.
And even the people working at AISH had no clue.
Oh, absolutely. They had no clue because when I
Right.
phoned into the call center and I let them know that, hey, did y'all know that
Mhm.
you have to have this in place before you apply for that? I had 4 different people because I just kept on phoning in to see who, like, if I could get multiple different perspectives on this issue.
Yeah.
And nobody knew. Nobody knew that.
Right. Right.
And it's like, how do you not know?
Right. Until they knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they're probably trying to tell you, no, you can't be correct. It's got to be like this. And so that's Annette. That's the answer to your question. Basically, they were taking money away from you, not establishing first for themselves with the information that there was a cart before a horse. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know that. So you had to apply for one before you applied for the other, and everybody was applying for the other, which couldn't take effect until you applied for the first. This is how
Mm-hmm.
confused your government was. So that's the reason, Annette, just so you know, and hopefully that's cogent enough for you.
Yeah, it was just a gong show. So all of these people that jumped the queue, essentially, they all got denial letters saying that no, you can't have the Canadian disability benefit, but they didn't go into enough detail to tell people, oh, by the way, you should have applied for the disability tax credit first.
Right.
So everybody's sitting with these denial letters while AISH is going, well, you should have got it, right? But they didn't look into it hard enough because they really don't care. It just looks like we're being non-compliant, right?
Right, and it's like Annette says, but they won't stop deducting the $200 now, and and something else you said, something like they don't give a shit. So
no, they don't,
and they don't, and we need to accept that because the only people that do care is us. We're the only people that care. I mean, I don't mean Chantal and I mean 80,000 of us are the only ones that care about us, and we need to do something about that. And we'll talk more about that. Hey, Colin, good to see you, buddy. I hope you're still on here. Let me go, Annette. AISH refuses to stop calling back until there is an answer. Yes, they will. They'll keep calling it back until they get the answer. The only good news, which I think is good news, and yet it still seems ambiguous to me, as does everything else, is that it is potential. Excuse me. Once your mom, right? Your mom. Once your mom does get an answer, they will remit her. They will back pay her for the amount that they've been clawing back previous to a decision. All right. So
provided it's a denial.
Provided it's a denial, right? If it's not a denial, they won't. Well, they will have to remit you, won't they?
The only thing that ends up kind of being the hiccup is if you get that retroactive pay.
Yeah.
Right. And let's say, I'll just pull a number out of my ass, $1,000. Right. And let's say they've been clawing back since what? Let's say that they've clawed back effectively $1,400 to $1,600 from you. But retroactively, you've only been given that Canadian disability benefit for that, time frame of $1,000.
Yep.
So they would effectively owe you $600
Right.
because they can only claw back what you've gotten or what you're getting,
Right.
right?
Right.
It has to match. The numbers have to match. They can't just steal money from people that aren't getting it.
Yeah. Right.
But that's why everybody's waiting for these decision letters, because they've already said, oh, well, we're going to be clawing back regardless. Get on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there is no fairness here. There is no justice in this at all, Annette. So what you're seeing is the unfortunate truth. And, we hate to be, don't shoot the piano player, don't shoot the messenger. It's unfortunate that we have to speak these words of what we believe to be the truth, but we're not going to lie to you either. I mean, it's difficult. So let me see, Annette, AISH refuses to stop calling. Answer, yeah. Nicole, the DRC criteria is mental capacity as well. The DRC or DTC?
Probably DTC.
DTC. Criteria is mental capacity as well. Yeah. When I got my
it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
All encompassing.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Thanks, Nicole, not Chantal.
I'm good.
Chantal, I just sent you a PDF letter, Ivy, sorry. And Ivy says, Chantal, I just sent you a PDF letter received from ADAP today. I can't open it.
Can you get Foxy from me?
Okay, great. Maybe you can look into that after.
Oh, I've got it. I'm like chomping at the bit. It's like, oh my God, I want to dig into it, but it's like we've got so much to go over right now.
Right. Okay. So there you are, Ivy. She's already on it.
Foxy
And
is
hello
still
all.
in the
I'm about 17. That's okay. Just
can
love
bin.
the fact that you're here, Ivy.
Can you get it from me?
Annette says, but they won't stop deducting the $200 now, right, until they get the decision, until your mom gets the decision, and that's an unfortunate fact. But it's unfortunate for me. It's unfortunate for anyone going through what your mom is going through at the moment, which is me, and a bunch of other people. A certain percentage of 80,000 people are being clawed back every month, just like your mom. And it's pathetic.
It's definitely not a unique situation that we're seeing right now.
Except the fact that it's unique in its austerity and its horrific nature. That's new. This level of austerity is new. And but you're not the only one feeling it, Annette, or your mom, and we feel for you, just like I feel for me when I'm sitting on the couch on a nightly basis and trying to do everything I can. So Nicole says, my psychiatrist said ADAP is absolutely wrong in what they are doing to disabled people. Well, right, and I can't think of any well-meaning psychiatrist or any psychiatrist that knows what he's talking about that would be in favor of this, because every psychiatrist knows that austerity leads to collapse. Every psychiatrist knows that. That's the only thing that has been studied. There is no study for what the government is doing. There is no clinical analysis to support that people will be better off forced to work, that can't work, know they can't work, have been adjudicated not to work, and yet are tossed overboard into the AC of compliance and a market that can't support them. That is antithetical to proper psychological makeup, right? And so, of course, your psychiatrist is going to say that it's horrific. And we've only begun the fight. We're just going to retain a lawyer that doesn't look like he's 20 years old and have long hair. That's that's what we're hoping to do better than. Chantal, back to you.
Well, I think a lot of professionals at this point are coming to the same conclusion that what's happening is going to be detrimental to the most vulnerable of the population. And the sooner they get behind what's happening, the sooner we can actually start seeing traction, because we're not going to see it on the government level.
No.
Um,
On any
So just-
government, on the
Yeah.
level of any government party, just so you know, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So where is it here? So I think we left off kind of in the middle of that paragraph, or did we finish it?
Let me go. The 1540 with the federal $200 bringing total back up to 1740. That's kind of,
Okay.
but you know, we clarified a lot of that because once again,
Yeah.
there's so much ambiguity mixed in with it that we
Mhm.
have to clarify it. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
we move on. Yep.
Well, I'm going to finish off that paragraph just in case somebody needs to catch something else. So during the transition period from the 2nd of July through December 31st, 2027, a $200 transition benefit is what they keep on citing it as. It's not a transition benefit, it's the CDB. Holds transition client or transitioning clients. So those of us who are being forcibly moved from AISH to ADAP, at the 1940 level. So they're using the $200 Canadian disability benefit as our top up. So it's not the federal or the provincial government doing that. So the number you care about is 1740. It is care about is 1740 or 1940, not 1540. So
Unless-
the panel,
Unless,
yeah.
unless,
Well, there's a lot of unless.
right, unless you're like me that gets 1540. And
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
and like, I'm sorry, I'm missing her name here. Annette, like Annette was indicating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not
Um,
that for us. Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm. So the panel did clarify this, and we repeat it because many people heard 1540 and stopped listening there. There were a lot of people that left the chat at that point.
Mhm.
So always compare your own totals and ask for your own figures in writing. Now, I've had at least 15 people since that live reach out to me to compile or to create an email that they could send out from them to AISH to get this in writing. Reach out, I'll do the same thing for you. It's not a problem. And I'll make sure that all of your numbers are in there so that they can't wiggle their way out. So the, where is it here? To continue on, so you can't appeal under the new amendments. This phrasing points at law that is not enforced yet. And I can't seem to pound that home any more than I have been. So the restriction on appeals lives in the amendments that take effect July 2nd. As of today, which is June 26th, those amendments are not the law that governs your file. So telling a current AISH recipient in June that they cannot appeal under the new amendments describes a wall that has not been built. Today, the current rules govern, and they still give you appeal rights for real decisions about your file.
Okay.
All right, so the question that they left open, and this kind of continues on, so can you appeal or not? Okay, so this is where the town hall stopped short, and we caught it in real time, and where the real work is. So the blanket message many people took home was you cannot appeal any of this. That is an overreading of the law. Here is the precise picture. The non-appealable part, okay? The new section 12.8 reads in full, and I took a quote right from the new regulation. For greater certainty, a formally eligible client has no right of appeal with respect to the formally eligible client's transition under section 12.6 to the Alberta Disability Assistance Program, or ADAP. Okay, so we can't appeal as of July 2nd anything about being moved to ADAP, which we already know, and we have cited that word for word. So it says, read it closely. It bars appealing the transition, the act of being moved. It does not say you cannot appeal anything else. So in July, after all of this happens, right? We won't be able to appeal being transferred to ADAP.
Right.
That's exactly how it's written.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we can't appeal it right now under the current rules for AISH, which is where everybody seems to have either died from the neck up or something, because it's written there. It's in black and white. It's very easy to understand for some of us. Okay, for some of us, right? So I don't understand where the disconnect is.
Well, the
So the part
disconnect, the disconnect is in the ambiguity that would otherwise lead someone to hope. So I think people are being very careful as to anything good they hear. And when, a lawyer says, nothing you can do. And when you call AISH and they say, nothing you can do, you
Yeah.
want to believe that there's nothing you can do. Now, we're not saying, and I think we need to caveat this, we're not lawyers. But
Yeah.
what we heard from that lawyer seemed to be contradictory to what AISH's own legislation says. So that's what we're bringing forward to you, is the fact that under AISH, you can appeal anything. That's what it says. Now, would a judge, just take it on that merit? He might. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's better to be safe than sorry. So if a lawyer or anyone else tells you, oh, don't do that, that's not going to get you anywhere, do it.
Mhm.
Because you don't know what benefit it could produce. We're not
Yeah,
promising that
exactly.
we will produce the result. That would take a court order. That would take a judge and a determination. What we're saying is that their own legislation says that you can appeal anything. So we're taking them at their word.
Mhm.
I think where people are getting confused is that they said you can appeal anything except ADAP. But they haven't written that or amended their own constitution that says you can appeal anything you want. So that's where we sit. Are we right? Are we wrong? We don't know. But the reason that we're bringing it to you is because it's better to have tried and failed than to not have tried at all.
Mhm.
And that's because we love you. We think the world of everybody out there. Yeah, go ahead, Chantal.
So the part that is still live, okay? So the appeal right in force today lets a person affected by a decision of a director appeal that decision in writing within 30 days of notice. If it is not exempt under the regulations, 2 words carry the weight. Okay. So decision. Okay. And I grabbed the actual literal definition and I'll explain why. So this word is not defined anywhere in the act or the regulations. When a law leaves a word undefined, it takes its ordinary meaning. So a determination reached after a consideration, a determination that a given person does not fall into the categories that keep them on AISH is a decision in plain English and in law. So it does not stop being a decision because the letter is signed sincerely assured income for the severely handicapped instead of by a named person. An unsigned decision is still a decision.
And why does that matter?
Because under the act, right, and the regulations for what we're following right now under H, decision is not defined within within that form, because they can put whatever definition they want to any word as long as it's within the act or the regulation. They can redefine whatever they want in terms of how they want that word to be translated, I guess would be a good way of putting it, or how they want it to be understood within that legislation or within that act, right?
Okay.
So decision is not defined anywhere in the AISH Act or AISH's regulations as it stands right now.
Okay.
As it has stood since it was put in place.
So a decision has been made.
Mm-hmm.
And the word decision matters because?
because it was not defined anywhere in the act to mean anything else. So it takes on its ordinary meaning through the dictionary.
Okay. And that is,
So
I mean,
that's
maybe I'm
the
the
basis
only,
that we stand on.
sorry, maybe I'm the only guy missing it in the room here, but you know, I'm a drummer. Okay. Give me a break. So what that matters because,
We were told, or have been being told, that we can't appeal a decision to put us on ADAP,
Get over here.
okay.
right? Now, that was before I ended up digging into more of the regulation and the new legislation that's coming in place for ADAP, which doesn't go live until July 2nd, right? So them coming to us and saying, oh, well, there was no decision that was ever made on your file, it's just automatic, that's bullshit.
I get you. So, right. So what their definition of decision is an automatic transfer, not a decision made.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
All right.
because we're all sitting with these letters, right? They're
Right.
not a figment of our imagination, and a decision was in fact made. So the decision is what we can appeal under AISH.
Okay. and that gives us leverage because
the ADAP rules aren't in place yet.
okay. Okay. So what we're discussing is what we can do right now up until July 2nd.
Until June 30th, the last working day of June.
June 30th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So if you're going to appeal under the rights that you currently have under the AISH regulations and act, now's the time to do it because time's ticking. And that
Okay.
window closes at the end of June, and it will not open again for appeals
Right.
under ADAP.
Right. So good, bad, or indifferent, right or wrong, it's within your best interest to try. It's
Yeah.
within your
And we
best,
have nothing to lose.
and you have nothing to lose. You send it in. You know, as far as I'm concerned, under the right tutelage of a good lawyer, he may be able to answer that question forthwith and be able to say, no, we got this right here, or well, it doesn't apply because, but that would be a lawyer you could trust, not a guy that works for a political party. And that's part of what we saw in that town hall.
The town hall.
On Tuesday. I just want to read what Ivy said here because I've read it now once or twice. Ivy says, my new doctor looked at me like I'm a Neanderthal. Well, I'm a drummer, Ivy, so I literally am a Neanderthal. He has no fucking clue about AISH or ADAP. Now I'm really scared that he is going to do nothing. He wouldn't even tell me how much he'd charge. So I guess charge for the new application that you may have to submit. Well, it sounds to me like you might have the wrong doctor. Either that or he had a bad lunch. I don't know what to say about that, except doctors, like anything else in this world, doctors, lawyers, drummers, guitar players, actors. There are good actors, there are good drummers, and there are bad drummers, just like there are good lawyers and there are bad lawyers. Now, if you want to be professional about it, you're not going to hire a shitty drummer. He's going to hang you up. He's going to cost you money and time that you don't have. He's going to make you look like an idiot on stage, and he's going to blow the whole show. It's no different with a bad lawyer or a bad doctor. They exist. They are out there in the world. And it is a goddamn shame that once in a while we come across this, especially when there's no good choice, when we're limited in our choices to find a doctor. But, it'd be nice if people could settle the fact that they understand now that just because you have a doctor doesn't mean he's a good doctor. It just means he passed the test. Lots of drummers pass the test and they suck. And they're out there in the world playing, ruining everybody's night. And it's the same with the doctor. He's ruining your ability to understand what you need and your sense of calm and your sense of peace, that you're in good hands. So I don't know what you can do, Ivy, but I would say that you keep this guy and that you find somebody better than he is. And Chantal, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Give him the card.
Give him the card. Right, sure.
If he doesn't know something, if a support worker doesn't know something, a community worker doesn't know something, a community navigator doesn't know something, somebody from AISH doesn't know something, there's no reason that they don't know something.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in their hands. Send them the link. They can educate themselves. There's no excuse.
Yeah, I guess we didn't do all this work for nothing, did we?
Nope.
No, this is the resource. This is the resource. This is the resource for every doctor that isn't seemingly worth his salt. This is what you can hand to him. My doctor, who is now in Edmonton, charged me $400. Holy shit, for the DTC forms. I can in no way come up with another. I think my doctor charged me $50, Abby.
My old doctor wanted to charge me $700 for my DTC form, and I told her to shove it up her.
Right. Oh my God, Ivy. What to say about that? My doctor charged me $50. Your doctor's ripping you off. If I can say that, as a somewhat educated assumption, my doctor charged me $50, and he's not great. He's not bad, but he's not great. He wasn't doing me a favor. That's what the fucking form costs. Cost $50. So that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Well, because there's no cap on what doctors can charge for forms or for requesting your file or anything like that. It's at their discretion, and it's pretty sick that there's no cap for that in Alberta.
It is. It's kind of like rental. You know, there's no rental cap in Alberta as far as I know. Right. So, Holy Ivy. Sorry. Dave says,
"Hi, Dan."
Sorry, Pam. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. We're glad you're here. And you shared everything. Of course you did. I mean, that's what you do because that's who you are. And it's beautiful to see you, Pam, today. Although I'm not seeing you, you know what I mean. Ivy says, "Wow, yeah, that's one word for it." And Nicole, Holy Ivy. That's criminal charging it's criminal charging that kind of money. It is criminal. I mean, the unfortunate fact is that it isn't criminal, but it is criminal. Horrible, man. That's why we need to hold each other up, Chantal, so greatly these days. Because people they're not only getting fucked from the government, they're getting fucked from their doctor. They're getting screwed, man. Like, I get sad. I get really sad when I hear that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I decided that with every rose pin that leaves my house, I include a card for each rose pin, because every person that gets one has a doctor or has some form of support worker that needs to know the information.
Yeah.
And this can travel.
Yes. Right. And that does the work for all of us when we're sleeping. So when we're sleeping, these cards are out there. They're in the ether. They're being read by people. They're being read by your doctor. So, you know, let things like that do the work for you. You know, when you've had enough, and when you need to lay your head down, that card goes out and people can get the information they need to make proper decisions if they so choose. You know, let's take a minute, shall we?
Sure. Does that mean that I get to disappear for a cigarette?
It does mean that. Yes.
Yahoo!
Yeah. Let me take over for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we love you. We literally hate hearing stories like this. You know, the one that I'll be sharing right now. you know, because we feel for everybody. I mean, you know, we feel for ourselves in this moment, and then we hear stories like this, and then we're feeling for everybody else, and we have to. So let's stay together. And part of how we can do that is to, you know, just share moments like I'm about to share with you now, which is a song that Chantal created, that I edited and co-produced
Made
with
better.
her, and made better. Okay, sure, made better. And so I just want to share that with you right now. I think it has a lot of meaning for the moment. Most of us have probably seen it before. Ivy says, "I need a card, Chantal." We'll get those. Hopefully you guys
Yeah.
are hooking up for a coffee or a tea, if you can make that happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, a song called "We Are Still Here," a #1 hit in Guam, making its way to Nicaragua and the greatest part of Uzbekistan. Please take a minute and enjoy this.
We are still here. We are still.
I came back. I'm back. I'm going to play it again for y'all. And the reason is because, once again, we're Neanderthal. Okay, I'm a Neanderthal, and I really screwed that up. So let me do that one more time. I am going to start it right now and do it correctly this time.
Where the quiet voices rise, where the parents bring the paperwork and the hungry children cry. Are you coming to the steps where the sick are told to wait, where they cut the hands that held us up, then call the damage fate? We are still here. We are still here. Our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here. We stand as one. We'll fight their lies until our work is done. Are you coming for the children who were promised care and time, where the forms replace the helping hands and support becomes a line? Are you coming for the families who have begged and called and tried, while the doors keep closing quietly and the need stays locked inside? We are still here. We are still here. Our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here. We stand as one. We'll fight their lies until our work is done. Don't go quiet. Don't go alone. Let them reap what they have sown. They could never hide their shame. It is they who bear the blame. Are you coming for the sick ones who who can't lose another thread, where the medicine, the rights, the care stand between the living and the dead. Are you coming for the renters with the notice on the door, where the check was never enough to live and now they're taking more? We are still here. We are still here. Our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here. We stand as one. We'll fight their lies until our work is done.
I don't know about y'all, but I really needed that song right now. Man, it's a powerful testimony right there. You know, just melodically great. Uh, Lyrically beautiful. And I needed that. I needed that in my heart right now. So I
And
hope
we will be live at the legislature on the 1st doing our teach-in.
Mhm.
So everybody's welcome to tune in for that. And I don't know if we're going to be on Facebook Live or YouTube Live or what the case may be, but we'll be there.
we will be there, and we hope to see as many of you as can come out. We will be releasing a new song of Chantal's, one in which I'm working on a video right now. And we're going to be releasing that new song July 1st. So
Yeah.
I hope you all appreciated that song. It certainly cleansed my palate to continue this deep dive today. So let me go back to the notes here. Decision. Do you want me to take the exempt from appeal?
Sure.
So the exempt from appeal under the regulations, under the current applications and appeals, ministerial regulation, AR 89, 2007, section 6, only five narrow types of decisions cannot be appealed.
Yeah.
So there's certain ones can't be appealed, all right? But we're getting to a greater thing at the moment than that.
Mhm.
Certain personal benefit decisions, one specific refuse suspend decision, repayment requirements, debt collection, and underpayment deductions. Eligibility and categorization decisions are not on that list. So once again, you only have to thank yours truly for uncovering this bit of stuff. Okay, so in nowhere in the things that cannot be appealed is eligibility and categorization. And the categorization, I would assume, is AISH or ADAP. That's categorical, right? So even in their own legislation, it seems like we, once again, uncovered the fact that they have defeated themselves without doing the necessary work or changing the verbiage that is necessary in order to keep themselves out of legal harm's way. Go ahead, Chantal. Do you want to speak to that a little bit more?
It's like brain mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
That it's in there and that the eligibility and categorization decisions are not on the list for things that we cannot appeal under the AISH rules, which is the AR 89/2027. That's what's in place right now up until the end of this month.
Right. And that legislation would seem to me, or that part of their constitution would seem to me to have been in place since 2007.
Yeah.
Right. And they never changed it.
Mhm.
As far
And
as
they've had
we know.
plenty of time to get used to what the regulations state for AISH. So I don't know why they're saying, "Oh, well, you can't appeal." We literally can.
Right. We literally don't believe that we can't.
Mhm.
Because we're reading to you the legislation in which they founded the AISH on. They told you what the exemptions are, and categorization is an appealable part of their legislation, which was never changed except in verbiage that said you can't appeal ADAP.
Mhm.
But I do not believe legally that's enough. You would have to go back and change certain parts of the legislation to reflect that new change.
Yeah.
And that's
Or at least put it into effect before July 2nd. To be able to say, no, you can't appeal under, whatever AISH rules or whatever, right?
once they give
So
you once they've given you the information that you can't appeal, don't appeal, wait, then they are basically what would the word be? They are subverting their own constitution.
Mhm.
And that has to be actionable. So
Well, that's why we're keeping the receipts, Gavin.
that's why we're doing it.
Yep.
And we're excited.
Every AISH generalist that comes back and says, nope, you can't appeal. Every, appeals secretariat that comes back, nope, you can't appeal. Yeah, no, this is going to turn into a bigger thing than it is, because the law is right there that governs AISH, saying that we do have rights to appeal up until the new laws take effect July 2nd. So that's why it's keep those receipts, keep those emails that say, you can't do it. They're digging themselves a hole, and let them dig.
It seems to me like that's what they're doing. I can't see it any other way. If somebody in the chat wants to argue it, please. I mean, I would love to know your thoughts of whether, we're missing something. But I don't know that we are. You may not be able to appeal the transition, but the underlying decision, the determination that you do not meet the criteria to remain on AISH, is a decision of a director, or you could say another way, a human being, a part of the human species. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It has to come from someone, not a thing. Well, a person, not a place or a thing. It has to come from a proper noun, meaning a person, an individual. Is a decision of a director. It is not on the exempt list, and is not what Section 12.8 protects. There is a serious argument that is appealable. So even if, what we can appeal is their own legislation. So we can go to them and say, look, your legislation strictly says that we can appeal eligibility and categorization. You have categorized 80,000 people or whatever. You did it to 80,000 people, and some people got recategorized. And you have already told us that you can't do that. So this is where we need a lawyer, and I believe Chantal and I are, doing what we can in that regard. What you can do right now before July 1st, while the current rules are still in force, if a real adverse decision has been made on your file and in your life, a denial, an eligibility finding, a benefit cut, you can appeal it now because you're on AISH. You're not on ADAP. All of those things are appealable. I already said it. In writing to the appeals secretariat within 30 days of being notified. It is not on the exempt list. The window is open.
Mhm.
So it's basically, we're petitioning you to do the work, to do that small thing, because it could lead to some type of benefit. Whether it does or not, we don't know. That's what we're trying to ascertain.
Mhm.
But as we just spelled out to you, the only ascertainable thing is the fact that their law does not exempt recategorization. So
Mhm.
we're good to go. Demand the decision and its reasons in writing, of course. Ask who determined your categorization, meaning what person, what their ID number is, what their first name is, any information you can get, ask for it.
Mhm.
Don't just say who, and they go, I don't know. Say, I want that person's ID number. That way, that is an internal document. You don't know their name, right? It would not be a breach of privacy, I don't think, to have a person's ID. I know when I worked for TELUS, we were allowed, and actually, if someone asked, we were obliged to give our ID number.
Mhm.
That way, a person, if we screwed up on their account, we hung up on them, we, swore at them, they could identify us immediately. So I don't
Mhm.
believe it's any different in the government, assuming so. So ask who determined your categorization, under what authority, on what criterion, and the date you were notified of this decision and your right to appeal it.
Mhm.
Because once again, if they're saying you can't appeal, which they've already said, right, Chantal? They've already said, sit
Uh-huh.
back, do nothing, because you can't appeal until the 2nd of July. As far as we know, that's incorrect, and it is anathema, which means it goes against everything their legislation says.
Mhm.
So we think we've got them in some kind of legal bind. We hope that's the case.
Mhm.
This forces the determination in the open, defeats there was no decision response because a decision was made.
Mhm.
It can't be a transfer of, it's a decision, and starts the clock cleanly. So,
Mhm.
and they, I mean, I hope the government isn't listening to us right now, because come the 2nd, when this is instituted, and if any of what we're saying has merit, I think they're fucked. I mean, they
Oh,
have to be,
royally.
in some respect, they have to be culpable for going against their own legislation.
Mhm.
I want to check the chat because I want to see if anybody has any feeling about that. As for the song, Pam saying she loves it. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. Awesome, Josh. Really appreciate your snoopiness. Well, we both are pretty snoopy. Chantal is, she gets in the weeds, man. You know,
Oh, I
she
have to pluck those chickens, Gavin.
well, she's incognito. She sets up the what do you call it? The duck. The
The
decoy.
decoy.
The decoy. And she sneaks through the grass, literally, to find this shit. And you never see her. You never see her coming, and that's what I love about this lady, ladies and gentlemen. We need Nicole. Maya said, "Awesome job." Nicole says we need a generous philanthropist who wants to stand up for vulnerable people. Well, a lawyer who is willing to go pro bono, yes. A philanthropist, a singular philanthropist, unless we're talking Elon Musk, doesn't really have the money to bail us all out. The government does. Our
Yeah.
all-in resources do. You see, we already have the resources to have never worried about this in the first place. The mismanagement of our resources is what has led, and the government lying to the middle class, and all of us for that matter, has led us to this precarious point in which there is no precarity at all, except what they have created and constructed for our demise. Because there is all resources and all money for literally all of us on AISH to be eating steak, caviar, and lobster dinners every fucking night of our lives. And that's not hyperbole. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So they have constructed a story behind your back without your knowledge, unless you're willing to look. And we looked.
Mm-hmm.
And we might get in trouble. And we'll see. Pam says, Cups social workers said you have till June 30th to appeal. Okay, well, great. Maybe
Somebody is following our information. That's
well, hey,
awesome.
maybe somebody is. I mean, and if she came up on her own, maybe there's two Chantels in the world. I don't know, but but good for you and good for her, Pam. I mean, what a
Mm-hmm.
blessing that somebody else is out there saying what we believe to be correct.
Mm-hmm.
Not for a lawyer that works for the fucking NDP. That doesn't know. He just doesn't know this. And even if we're not correct, he should know it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because then he could defeat it. But he doesn't even know it. So he can't defeat what he doesn't know.
No, he mentioned that by his interpretation, we couldn't appeal.
Well, great. That's great. And
Well, by mine, we can.
and my interpretation of getting a jaywalking ticket yesterday is that I shouldn't have gotten one, but I still got it. That's another story, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you're just a badass.
Oh my God. Who gets a jaywalking ticket like now, these days? Nobody, except me. Can you believe it? A jaywalking. The story, I videotaped the whole thing, and I think I'm going to release it because I wasn't that bad. I thought I was like off the chart bad in that, because I really didn't say nice things. But I videoed it, every part of it, audio and video. So I might play it one of these days. Pam, the appeal, excuse me, Pam, the appeal, and get your file before June 30th as well. I done all this by June 22nd. Great, Pam. We know you have.
Yep.
Ivy, I still haven't heard back from my June 3rd appeal, and I resent in Chantal's letter just last week. Still no email to confirm they even received it.
They've run and hide, Ivy. They've ran and they're hiding now because they know they fucked up.
And you've got the receipt of when it was sent,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that they have to reply within 30 days.
Yep.
So if they don't, once again, I guess we're all getting Lamborghinis for Christmas. This government is so fucked.
Yeah, and that same secretariat that responded to Ivy's original request, because she sent me the message or the email that was sent to her was identical copy and paste from what I received from the same person.
Yeah. Really?
So both of our responses were identical.
Right. And from the same...
Saying, we can. Look again.
From the same worker.
Yep.
Wow. They're going to have to hire some other people because they're going to be really busy pretty soon. Okay. As Cup said on June, Pam, it won't matter after July 2nd. Only the new medical is required in July. Anything else? Yep. That's what we're talking about, Pam. You're right. Ivy, Nicole says, Ivy, I heard they aren't responding. Ivy says, yes, Nicole, that's what an NDP lawyer said. Nicole says, wow, Chantal. And Maya says, a thing I noticed in the town hall, someone asked if NDP will bring back AISH. Renault said, can't promise that, but will let you keep your CDB. What, Maya says? They could legislate AISH return if they win. Very sus. We're going to deal with that in just a moment. That is my, that's my lane. Because that was where, I became so thoroughly disgusted, Maya, that I literally was ready to puke. When you see, being a good politician in this economy today means if you're going to lie, don't answer questions you can't answer. The best thing she could have done, being the politician she is to skip the question, move from the one she just answered to the one she can't answer don't do anything with it and move to the next question. She tried to answer the question she can't answer. It was the worst move a politician could make. And she did it live on TV for everybody to see. That when asked, I'll do it now, what the hell? When asked, what is the NDP going to do when they get in? I mean, you're being nice, Maya, when you say, said can't promise. I mean, not only could she not promise, she basically said, it's not my department. That's a higher consideration than me. And all I could think, then where the fuck is your leader? Where's he? And why don't you have an answer from him? If you're going to get involved, don't come to a gunfight with a knife, right? I mean, you just lost 80,000 potential votes. As far as I'm concerned, the moment you said, I don't know, you just lost.
She lost mine when she read that one question from somebody in the comments and then rolled her eyes.
Right.
No, that wasn't as subtle as I think she wanted it to be.
But this is huge, because what this proves, and it's more than an assumption, because we've seen it everywhere. You saw it in the political system in the US in 2020 when Biden promised a living wage, health care, $2,000 to every American citizen. And everybody went, oh my God, the liberals are so great. And they didn't do one fucking thing. They took that. They could have solved the abortion issue immediately. They could have solved Roe versus Wade immediately. They didn't do it. They had a majority in the Senate, and they didn't do it. And the reason they didn't do it was because it becomes a political talking point for re-election. So the best thing the NDP, and I believe this to be true because it's historical. It's not like it's happened once or twice or three times. It has happened over and over and over again. They do not solve your problem, because in not solving your problem, they can use that issue to become elected. Once they get elected, rarely, if ever, do you see them do the thing they promised to do. George Bush, no new taxes. Immediately after, taxes. Almost every president or what do you call it? What do you call us?
Premiers?
Premiers, or why can't I think of it? They will raise your taxes every time. Under the NDP, they put in austerity for drugs. They took away some of the drugs that people needed to survive. That was under the NDP, not the UCP. So I know we need help right now. And I want people to have hope. But I can't hope in the hopeless. I can't hope in someone that says, I don't know, when they're part of government, you don't have that luxury. And the ignorance of that little lawyer at the end of it to say, there's some people are saying some bad things in the chat tonight.
There's some real aggression in the chat.
Aggression? You ain't seen shit, buddy. You ain't seen aggression. You don't know aggression. You're 20 years old. You need to grow up and live a little. And there was no aggression. There was accountability. There was disgust at a government that could, at a party that could say, we got the answer. Immediately. We got the answer. And they wouldn't do it. Do they have the answer? Well, Jesus, Chantal and I have the answer. You have the answer. Just don't do it. That's the answer. But they're not going to give you the answer. And it is sad and discouraging. But that's why Chantal and I keep talking about, is there anything we can do? What do we do? Are we nuts to be thinking anything political? I don't know. But I can tell you this, There are no good options at the moment, and it's terrible. It hurts my heart. And of course, there's the lesser of two evils. But when do we stop that shit? That's what I want to know. When do we stop? Because the operative word isn't lesser, it's evil. And we have to stop thinking that any evil, somehow evil, is good. Or even better, evil is evil. And good is good. So, yeah, Ivy, Maya, I'm right with you. Maya says, okay, Gavin, LOL. Maya, me too. Ivy, yes, we will ensure you can keep the CDB. Well, yeah, and George Bush said no new taxes. And Biden said, health care for everybody and a living wage. Now, I know that's American because I can't really point to anything Canadian just because America, is on my mind. But it's true of Canadian politics. And even let's say it's not true, Nenshi should have had an answer for her, knowing that question would be asked. Saying, honey, I know you're going in there tonight. Well, I'm throwing you to the wolves, but we got the answer. And maybe he wouldn't call her honey. Sorry if anybody, doesn't like that. But maybe he would. I don't know. That would be a smart leader. And he's not a leader. He's a puppet of the WEF. And he is a globalist. And he doesn't want good things for you. He doesn't. If he did when he was mayor of this town, he would have produced something. And he produced nothing for this demographic. Right? And, but his rich friends, yeah, people got richer. Not you. Not you. So, I hope I'm not depressing people, but I get angry because, Chantal and I talk about what her strengths are and what my strengths are, and how well we work together and how we, what I mean, we don't get in each other's way. Chantal is the statistician, the hardest worker I've ever met. She is a statistician aficionado and master, really. And I can say that because I've worked in entertainment industry for most of my life. She's a master. For me, it is the political sphere, the philosophical sphere, and things of this nature. And so when I see people screwing, when I see a government doing what it has done for all of history, I get upset for our sake. I can't help it. It is just natural to me. So I hope you understand, ladies and gentlemen, where my passion comes from. I'm not angry at anybody here. I'm trying to tell people the truth. I know the truth sometimes sucks, but it's the truth. How do we end up getting someone into the political sphere that actually will, in all sincerity, attempt a change? Just attempt it. Because it isn't happening now, and it never really has. So I leave that with the chat. Chantal, do you have anything to say about that?
No, I think you covered it.
I know
we weren't impressed with the town hall. If we had, like the recording and stuff going after the live was done, oh my goodness, we were pissed. You and I were both upset about it.
Yeah, we had a phone call for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was just like bitch. I mean, we just couldn't stop ourselves. And
did you hear what they said? Oh my God!
and it comes down to the fact that we don't like to be lied to, and we don't want the people that listen to this podcast to be lied to. We don't want our brothers and sisters to be lied to. You don't deserve that. You really don't. You deserve better. And the world hasn't produced better for you. Nature produces better for you. And we deserve access to nature. We deserve that. Right? It's not a want of any of us. It's an absolute need. And it is granted to us by nature itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I cede my time.
It's all good. I always give you room to do your thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Because we both give each other the space to do our thing.
And we both feel
Um,
the same way I feel.
Mm-hmm.
We
Oh,
both feel this
exactly.
way. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and we both feel like we need to pull a trigger. We're just not sure where, how, when, the 5 W's. And when we figure that out, I believe if it comes to us and we are prepared for it, we will
Mm-hmm.
pull some trigger somewhere.
Yeah. Well, we've got lots of door knockers already in the chat.
Yeah, I know. The most beautiful people, I'd say, 80,000 people, they are the most beautiful people in Alberta. I've never met more
Mm-hmm.
cogent, more intellectually sound people in my life. I talked to Pam last night on the phone for a while. And I said, Pam, you know what's amazing about our conversation? Because Pam didn't go to college, didn't go to university. I don't even know if she has a grade 12. I don't know. But I have had conversations with people that are university, degrees,
Mm-hmm.
masters. And I've had conversations where they go, I don't know what you're talking about, Gavin. What do you mean care for people? What do you mean when you say that? I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? When I say care for people, I mean fucking care for people. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's just, the definition is inherent in the text.
Mm-hmm.
And these people can't understand it. They can't understand the philosophical aspect of what I'm discussing with them. And then I sit with Pam, right? And Pam understands every word I'm saying. And this is the heart of 80,000 people. Nobody gets me wrong in this
No.
in this demographic. Nobody doesn't understand me. And yet the people we consider the brightest amongst us don't have a clue what we're talking about. And that's because they sold their humanity for a mess of pottage many, many years ago. To cut a check, to get 2 weeks in the Bahamas, and to do no work at all. Once again, I cede my time.
So to pick up where we left off there with what you can do right now, request your file through the ATIA process so you can see what was recorded about you. So there's a lot of requests that have been going out. There's no time frame on that. So if you get your appeal in, you don't have to rush to get your information request in regarding your H file. We have a form already all filled out. In that aspect, it's really easy to follow along. And if you need help filling it out, get a hold of me. That's why I'm here. So number 4, if you belong on AISH, pursue reassessment. It is the route back after July 2nd. And the government apparently will cover one assessment to be done. They still haven't said if they're going to send us to our own doctors or if they're going to be third-party contractors that we're going to be going through. We don't know that yet, but we should soon. And then 5, document everything in writing. Every request, every accommodation, every contact, record it. And just make sure that you have it written down because it's evidence for what's happening.
Yeah, and we will get into these third-party organizations, these NGOs. We're going to do a podcast on that because there are Australian companies. There are, I think, British companies.
We have that in the notes for this one, hey?
In the notes for tonight? Oh, well, we've done a lot. We've done a lot. It's a lot for people to handle. It's my head isn't blown by any respect, but I want to honor other people's time. We'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because everybody can always pause and come back later.
That's true. But let's. I'm good. I'm good. But we're going to get into that. Let's just say that we're going to uncover this list of NGOs, of which I believe there are 100 just in Alberta alone, dealing with work programs and austerity measures and It's sickening. And the amount of money they're getting for this, the fact that they're not Canadian, that they don't understand the typical Canadian and the needs of the Canadian individual, the fact that most of these NGOs are just workers, they're just worker bees. They don't have masters, they don't have diplomas, some of them, I'm sure. And they're making decisions based on the very lives of other human beings in this country. Have we given up that much? Have we given up that much of our rights to allow other countries to come in here and make decisions based on our lives? Really? Really? We got to have some self-respect. We're Canadian, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Okay, well, Maya, just to finish, are you good, Chantal?
Yeah.
Okay. Maya says, you bet, and then she is a globalist. Yeah. Did you know this is happening in Australia too? I do, and we know it's been tried and failed miserably in the UK. But yeah, I know Australia is doing their own thing, and we need to do a podcast there as well. We need to include that somewhere because the whole world, Maya, is leading in this direction. We are heading there to complete austerity, to own nothing, be happy. Even though Klaus Schwab never said it, that's the intent. That's the intent. And they are doing what Hitler did, which is not starting with the Jew. They're starting with the disabled, the homosexual, right? Because those are the most precarious. They consider us to have the least voice of all humanity. We got to fucking prove them wrong, Maya. We have to. Australia and federal level states too. Yes, the states always has. The states would really rather you die. Like they can't wait for you to die, and they're sick of you already. They wish you would get out of their fucking way so that there can be 5 million people living on the earth. Not hyperbole. The UCP must be owned too then. Your entire political system. See, people break down parties. They don't look at the system. They don't do a systems analysis. So I'm not saying anything in your case, Maya. What I'm saying is that it's not the party that's broken, although, yes, they're broken completely. It's the system in which they're engaged in that has collapsed. There is no national identity or ideology anymore. It is all a global ideology. And it will all lead there, even if the road is not the same. So the UCP may get to Regina by the number 1. But NDP will get to the same destination just by a different route. It's all leading to globalization. And globalization is somewhat inevitable anyway. We have to understand that. Globalization is inevitable. The question is on whose terms? On whose terms? Ours or theirs? And this is going to be the fight of humanity. It is the beginning, the genesis at this moment. It is going to extend to another generation in which I will not be a part of. But I will do my fucking work while I'm alive. I will tell you that. I will do what I can. And we're trying to do it now. Pam says, thank you so much. You both are great. Well, Pam, yes, we're not bad. And you're not bad either. We love you. Nicole said that lawyer at the town hall sort of alluded to the fact that there is discussion going on in the legal community regarding ADAP. Yeah, and why isn't he a part of it? Like, that was my question. He's like, yeah, there's some guys doing some work, some other lawyer. I'm like, I make an assumption here, but are you getting paid by the NDP? Because if you're getting paid by the NDP, you should be the one that knows the most. You should have answers fucking flying left, right, and center. Not getting appeal dates wrong. Not getting appeal processes wrong. You should have all the answers. Where the fuck are you? And he was pawning it off. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think there's other people somewhere around here doing something, I guess. Now, I'm sorry, but that's not good enough for me. People may say, Gavin, don't make fun of the guy. I'm sorry, but he set himself up. You know what I mean? And if I don't laugh at him, he won't like the alternative. So laughing is the best I have for that guy. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not professional work. When I was in the studio, when I traveled the world doing what I did, I had to be professional every fucking night. I had to land the charts. I couldn't fuck up. I had to be on.
Mhm.
I'm under lights and sweating my, patootie off, and I'm having to perform. And if I have to be that way, so does another professional. And
Mhm.
this guy, I'm sorry, he was not professional. He was just simply not that. And you bet, Gavin, we need to shout. Thank you, Maya. Sometimes I feel like we should. And
Mhm.
Nicole, I'm wondering if there are disability advocate groups consulting these lawyers. Well, one would hope, and I would love to know who they are. And once again, that's the job of this goddamn lawyer. Not only does he know other people that are doing it, but here's their names and their law offices and give them a call because they would like to be like to have your information and align with you. None of that. He
Yeah.
didn't bring anything. No receipts. And once
Now,
again,
a lot of these disability advocate groups that are around right now, so Voices of Albertans with Disabilities, Inclusion Alberta, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. If they fight too hard regarding ADAP, their funding will be cut by our government.
who's funding?
So
Sorry.
that's why we're not seeing a lot of traction from our advocacy teams that are currently government funded.
It's no different than the homeless industrial complex. You see, as far as NGOs are concerned, as far as the DI is concerned, the drop-in center here, or any other establishment, the seed, mustard seed, any other in from the cold, you can't. Their ethos is that we can't solve homelessness. Now, it's not that they can't solve it. We've been dealing with homelessness since Jesus was a baby. It's not that the problem can't be solved. It's that in order to solve the problem, they would put their lives at risk because they would lose their livelihood. If they solved homelessness, they don't exist. They don't have a job. They don't cut a check. They don't get 200 to 300 grand a year. So you can't solve homelessness under their metric, and therefore they don't. As a matter of fact, I lived at the Dream Center for a while in Calgary here. I walked into the cafeteria after lunch one day, and they were setting up for a stakeholder shareholder meeting. I stuck around. I wanted to hear a few minutes of it. The president of the Dream Center came in, went up to the front, turned around and faced the people, and the first thing out of his mouth was, homelessness is big business. And the whole audience, like 50 people, they had 75 people, everybody was silent because they all knew that he said the quiet part out loud. You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that. Homelessness is big business. And why would homelessness ever have a stakeholder or a shareholder making money off of that thing? That's the only reason a stakeholder exists, is because he's got a stake in the money that he makes from the homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't think of a more terrible construct than that. So they can't solve it. And I'm sorry to tell you that. And once again, that's why Chantal and I think. We think.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything we can do? What can we do? Is there, And we don't have an answer for that yet. But we want to keep thinking about it.
Mhm.
And, we could use your feedback in terms of how you feel about whether we ever pulled the trigger on something political. I'd love to know what some people, what any of you think.
There
Yeah,
were some
go ahead.
questions that were raised during the town hall that never really got direct answers and that were coming through the group for us. Because I'm sorry, but I grabbed every question off of that live on Facebook, and I wanted to make sure that we had our cannons loaded, so to speak, for anybody that came in with the same kind of question. So fear was the loudest thing during that live, and some of it is warranted, some of it is not, and you deserve the parts that are not. So you are not cut off for trying and not succeeding. Okay, so the employment condition in section 15.4 of the new legislation for the ADAP program, so 96/2026, and it applies to ADAP only, not AISH. A director may act only if the director, in the director's opinion, the person refused to seek or accept or has reduced or terminated reasonable employment, or refused or neglected to participate in or make use of an employment support. Okay, so the trigger words in that are refused and neglected. Okay, so applying for a job is not being hired is not a refusal. You are still applying. Being let go through no fault of your own is not refusal, because the test runs on a director's opinion. So keep engaging where you can and keep it documented. So by their own rules, right? If you are doing everything humanly possible for you, it's not set to any one metric. It's not a comparison between an able-bodied individual and yourself or me or whatever, right? You do what you can at your capacity. That is still engagement. That is not refusal or neglect.
Yeah.
So just to clarify that, because a lot of people were worried about that. Like, are they just going to cut it off because I'm not going to be able to get a job? No.
No, that's a misnomer. I mean, we don't know where this is headed. We don't have all those answers. We don't know what the modus operandi of all of this is. We just don't. If the government is this nefarious, could they be more nefarious? Well, only historically, yes. We only have history to show us that. What does that look like? We don't know. Right now, though, from what we know, come the 1st or the 2nd of July, that's just the phase of the action that takes place. It is not a race for everyone to be cut off. That's not what happens. It's just a let's call it like a legislative jump to the next step, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't want anyone out there to think that, oh my God, the world ends July 2nd. It doesn't. That's not reading the room correctly. That's not what's happening.
It can feel like that, though, and it can for a lot of people. It can feel like that, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of what we're doing.
No. And it's and yeah, to acknowledge that reality, Chantal, is very true for some people, and for a lot of us, it can feel that way. Because it doesn't matter if it happens July 2nd or it happens December 1st. It's the fear of the unknown that is bothering and collapsing the psychology of all of us. And we get that. And we want to stand with you and have you know that we care. And that's why we have a podcast. That's why we're talking this way. That's why I get angry, because I get angry at injustice. I can't help myself. and so does Chantal, and I'm
Mhm.
sure so do all of you. Um, so that's about it, I think.
Yeah, well, there were three more that came up. So
Okay,
the
go ahead.
cut is
Sorry.
on a timer,
Mhm.
not a switch flipped now. So transitioning clients, so the people that are going from AISH to ADAP, are held at the current level of payment right now through December 31st, 2027. The reduction lands in January 2028, which is where, with the CDB clawback, we'll be sitting at 1540. Right?
Yep.
Where is it here? So today's check is not the cut. And everybody that got their checks, I'm still waiting to see what this extra $100 was, to see the breakdown on our pay stubs that we have come in, because there's a lot of unknown and rumors going around. Is it the Danny bucks? Is it like, what is it? We're not sure 100%. I'm still waiting for the receipt to come in, and then I'll break that down. Another point here, you are still on AISH until July 2nd. Nothing about your legal status changes before then. And then reapplying for AISH does not cost you your ADAP. That was another big fear wandering around. You are not gambling your current benefit by asking to be reassessed. There's a reason why that reassessment window is going to be open, or the option of reassessment is going to be given, and it's not going to cost you the benefit that you're sitting on.
Right. Right. And fighting this thing won't cost you anything either.
No.
And it's so beautiful that you people are, well, you people, that our brothers and our sisters are, coming onto the podcast. I will say, the last thing Nicole wrote, thanks for showing you care. We have a podcast, right? So this is how we can show that we care. I mean, this is how it can be observed that we care by people. But, we all care. And the only reason I did this podcast was to align with people that care. It's the only reason I started this, was because I felt alone. And I wanted good people around me. And more than anyone really that I've ever met in my life, any celebrity, anything else, I have finally found the most beautiful people in the world. And I mean that sincerely. People that have a heart, people that actually care. And so it's not that I care, it's the fact that we all care. And it's what makes us amazing. It's what truly inspires me to do this on Monday at 3 p.m. and Tuesday at 6 and Thursday at 3 and Friday at 6. It's because I care, and I know that people care about me, and that sustains me. It's not just loaves and fishes. It's more than that. So silence by power. No more, Nicole. No more. Disgusting, absolutely. I was really breaking down with worry last week, Nicole said, and yeah, some people have been, because it will, the dread is kind of what comes over you, like a warm dysfunctional blanket, if you will, a cloak that, but there are so many people that don't know that they're good, that they actually do have the life jacket. We're all getting thrown out of the boat. This is the Titanic for all of us. But the good news is that many of us have the life jacket already attached. And I believe that to be true. And so, Nicole, that may be your case. I know I was talking to someone that both they and I realized in real time that they have the life jacket. And so I don't have the life jacket. I'm going to have to dig deep, work hard for me. But there are many people, I think, that this is not a doom scenario, because you simply can't do anything to satisfy what this government is asking of you. And when your doctor tells them that, they either listen to your doctor or the UN Human Rights Tribunal will be all over this. And it will be at that point that you will own the Lamborghini. Because you can't go against that type of authority without a human rights, whatever you would call it, consideration. So we're good. I mean, I want to give people hope. I hope that sounds hopeful. There are many people out there with the life jacket. I'm on CPPD. I'll just, I'm on CPPD since 2009. I was looking through the appeal with CPPD approved. It asked for the approval letter, but I do not have access to that anymore through Service Canada Web. Do I have to call for it?
No, you actually don't need that letter. I put it on the form because some people do still retain them. Your original letter should be in your file through AISH. So, and they'll be able to pull that when they look at your file at the appeal secretariat's office. Because that's basically what the appeal does, is it makes them pull your file and actually look at it.
Right. And when they look at that with a doctor's, determination, there's really no way they can't argue that. There's no argument. Like, there is no argument. And if they ever tried, the other thing too is their base, right? They have a base to consider here. The UCP does. So if it gets out that they're throwing people onto the street from AISH, even their base will turn on them, and they can't have that. That much is true. So this can't become the kind of debacle I think that's playing out in a lot of our heads. It will be a consideration for some. But for others, you've already got the golden ticket that gets you into the chocolate factory, just so you know. And although that came at a price for you, and there is all, empathy for that, you still possess the ticket. So Leanne just says, okay, I did request for my file on June 14th, but I know that's going to take a while.
Yep.
Thank you, she says, Nicole, Chantal. And you're welcome, Leanne. It's just another...
I'm still waiting for mine. I'm still waiting for my file too. So I know that they weren't expecting us all to be requesting our files. Sucks to be them. Guess they have to work for a living. I have nothing but contempt for these government offices right now.
Well, and that's just it, ladies and gentlemen. Your contempt is fully justified, and you can feel contempt. You can feel contempt, I think, in two ways. Number one, for the entire system and for this entire debacle. And you can also be contemptuous, I think, of the individuals that are cutting a check on every level of this. Whether it's this AISH worker, ADAP worker, the same thing happened in Nazi Germany. I was just following the orders. Your check will not absolve you of the pain you are causing. I'm sorry, it won't. Because we're all feeling pain. Your family's important, but so the fuck is mine. So, just so you know that. Should I appeal or get a reassessment or just reapply when I'm able to?
Okay, so the appeal process that we have right now, as of today until the 30th of June, this window of appeal closes July 1st and July 2nd. That's when they rip our appeal rights out from under us. We will not be able to appeal moving to ADAP. Right now we can. So if you want to appeal, now is the time. And reassessment does not cancel out your appeal rights right now, because the reassessment window will not open until ADAP is a live program after July 2nd.
Right. And so reapplication will be July 2nd as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or whenever they get their shit together, and we know they don't have that. I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say too that this is a live call-in show. So I know we're answering on the chat here, but we've had people just call in, and we encourage you that to do it. We're really nice people when we're sleeping. So if you want to give us a call, we can send you the the Zoom link. And we had Maya on here, and Maya, what an amazing conversation we had with Maya. She was great, and I think we were nice to her. I'm pretty sure we were.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you desire that, we'd love to hear from you. Vocally, verbally. We have to do it, and and we seem to get by. Okay, so in your opinion, what do you think I should do? Well, can I just caveat that we want to
Absolutely. Go ahead.
we want to be careful about the advice that we give. Okay, so when you ask what should we do or what should I do specifically, I think we just want to say that we'll give an opinion in general terms as to what we think people should do. You can either take that advice or you can or not. But we don't want to determine that this is absolute or that is absolute. We need to make that distinction because we can't legally do that, and we don't want to promise you something that is absolute, because nothing in this world is absolute, down to the fact that we exist. So, Chantal, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, if people want to appeal, now is the time, and we only have until June 30th. So if it's something that you want to get done, you want to get it in under the wire, reach out to me. I'll give you a hand as best as I can.
Yeah.
Because that's our right now, is to appeal the decision that was made to transfer us to ADAP. Once ADAP is live, we no longer have the ability to appeal.
Yep. And Chantal, I believe will help you with that. If you
Yep.
need help, Leanne. Okay. Maya. Oh, thanks, Gavin. I love you guys too. We love you. We absolutely think the world of you, all of you, and you, Maya, of course. I get that. Leanne said, yeah. I thought the new criteria is remaining as the 4 groups who stayed on AISH. Well,
They're not exclusive.
well, not on ADAP, right?
Well, no, ADAP is completely different. So they are going to be changing a lot of the what is it, the ministerial orders and the acts for AISH very, very soon in the future, because now that ADAP will be coming into effect, they're going to have to change all of what is under AISH. Right. So, but that stuff hasn't come out yet. And once it does, I'll be breaking it down. You best believe that. And we'll be, the first ones to know basically what's exactly going on.
Right. And
so
yeah, we know that right now the criteria are those 4 items.
Yeah.
What we don't know is what that looks like on July 2nd. I mean, you could really go 2 ways or even more than that, but you could either go on the fact that, well, the new criteria is whether you can work or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that would lead one to assume that you would go back to AISH, or they could say, no, you're not going to go back to AISH. You're going to be an ADAP can't work guy or girl. Like, we just don't know, right? Like, we don't know. And we're not tasked to know because we're not the NDP that knows less than we do. So, we're there's some things we just don't know. We're like you. We're like the rest of everybody here going, it's so ambiguous. It's so stupid. It's so inhumane, if you will.
Yeah.
So, Nicole says, thank you, Chantal. So we'll let it go with that. It's beautiful to get back on here. My God, I missed this. I missed you, people. I missed you, Chantal. I missed, doing this. I missed being this upset. I'm glad my ire can be directed in the right place, rather than two shitty peace officers that gave me a fucking jaywalking ticket yesterday. Who gets a jaywalking ticket anymore? I told 6 people yesterday I got a jaywalking ticket. They were like, "Who gets those?" Nobody gets a jaywalking ticket. Yeah, nobody gets a jaywalking ticket anymore. I'm like, well, obviously somebody does. Ridiculous.
They saw you coming.
I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. We think the world of you. Monday we will be back because now I got everything working, and it's a beautiful thing. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others, except the AISH worker. Be whatever you want to them, but be kind to one another. We're in this, we're in this now, and so, excuse me, we want to align with you, and we my heart is just full of love for people I'd never met, and but I know my tribe now, and I'm glad I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, until Monday, be safe, be well, and most importantly, courage!